What's up, guys and girls? So today I want to talk about enunciating your words slowly and talking slowly. And I actually got this from people who actually charge actual money to give this sort of advice. And this is one of the things they said. And long story short, what it is enunciate your words and talk slowly. And the idea behind it is that a lot of people who in high school or middle school or in during their education, they found themselves in situations where no one bothered to listen to them, or they were constantly cut off because they were the lowest of the social hierarchy, or for whatever reason, no one cared for what they said. Now again, there's also a lot of other reasons, so there's possibly specific ways that you have to fix the issue. For instance, let's say you are a jerk and everything you're saying is pure crap, and that's why everyone cuts you off. Or you're in a business setting, or you're at school and you never study or know what you're saying, so everything that comes out of your mouth is pure lies and garbage and everyone can tell. Then you're gonna get cut off and people are gonna stop talking to you. And then there's like another possible reason, which is the fact that you're constantly talking about controversial stuff that doesn't have a right answer, or it's very complicated to logically argue through and persuade the opponent, and people don't have time for that. And so these are things you can kind of fix. The simplest would probably be being a jerk. Like you guys sort of like stand aside and be completely honest with yourself. Maybe you're a jerk, but let's say you've passed these tests and you've looked at yourself honestly. Then let's proceed. Talking slowly and enunciating, in most cases, not all cases, will show a sort of a value that you have, because it implies that people care what you have to say and you respect yourself and you know enough so that you don't have to talk quickly to get your point across, because you know people will listen. And I've had this problem, and I still have it. And honestly, like recently, this video was kind of inspired by the fact that it still pops up because certain people will cut me off. And it sort of causes me to speak very, very, very quickly and get all these words in a short amount of time, because for whatever reason I may be scared that they're going to cut me off, or they're going to stop listening, or they're just going to start talking over me, or they don't really care that much about my opinion. Now then, that again begs the question, are these people actually people you want to hang out with? Are they your true friends? And that again comes down to assessing the situation objectively as you can, and maybe getting other people's opinions. Sometimes you're hanging around the wrong crowd, and there are people out there who are completely nicer to you. Sometimes it's very hard to tell, or sometimes it's just a misunderstanding, and this sort of stuff happens. So in my case, I feel like when it happens, it's usually on controversial topics or just very complicated topics, like in stock investing and so forth, where people will there's this one person who started cutting me off, and he didn't really even bother to listen. So for me, I had to think to myself, does that mean I have to leave this guy forever because he's not someone I should hang around? Or maybe I shouldn't just not bring up this topic anymore. And I decided I'm going to just give it time. If it comes to a situation where it's truly clear that he's not respecting you and just bombarding you with stuff and not even giving yourself a chance to explain yourself and being horrendously rude, then you kind of have to cut it off. However, let's say you've passed all these tests and nothing's going on. It's just the fact that you're speaking very, very quickly. This may be due to past experiences. 5-10 years ago. But try slowing down what you say and making what you say important, or not necessarily important, but not something content-wise that people would want to ignore or cut you off on. And those are the two things that I think you have to look at, because some people only look at one. Oh, I'm going to start talking slower now, just like Barack Obama and so forth. But they don't change the content of what they're saying, and it's grounded in the root that what they're saying is pure crap. But that's not always the case, and in my case, I feel like certain times, whether it's discrimination based on how you look, in my case, I wouldn't say it's completely ethnic, but I do feel like my sort of nerdy appearance definitely sort of puts me in a certain like category immediately. And so in order to go beyond that, sometimes you have to sort of realize that certain crowds aren't going to change regardless of how slow or fast you're talking. They're just going to disrespect you and cut you off. And so you want to stay away from those crowds. And then on the other hand, to wrap it all up, in a lot of situations in the future, when you're an adult, you'll find that talking slower and saying meaningful stuff just implies a good deal of solid confidence, a good deal of strength, of self-respect for yourself, and a lot of things that are quality leadership traits that people want. And no, I am not doing it on purpose. Sometimes I have a lot of complex things I'm thinking about, so I'm forced to talk slowly to really get the point across. Like, this is just like the fastest rate I can talk with these big ideas. But yeah, you want to do what I just did, like talk, enunciate, and don't rush, because you have to pretty much assume that you have that respect. And that's all I gotta say. And finally, if I still haven't hammered the point home, like, think about it. Most of the time, generally, when someone's talking very, very quickly and saying all this stuff very quickly, if the content is not good, then you're almost immediately assuming that this guy is he's scared that people won't even bother to listen to him because he doesn't have enough respect. And it's kind of hard of a concept to wrap around, but it's the sort of mentality that subconsciously comes to mind for me as well. There are moments when there are certain groups I hung around in at school, and I'd find myself like saying all these words very, very quickly, and then being cut off mid-sentence and ignored. And it's like you're in that mentality of, I gotta get everything out before I get cut off. And that conveys low value and a low level of respect. So that's really all I want to say. And I guess, yeah, if you get nothing else out of this video, I would suggest making sure you can find better people to hang around if you truly think that is the problem. It may just be a bunch of jerks who were straight up jerks. And if that were the case, you kind of have to move away from that